this week's installment, this actor has a beautiful mind but a history of violence, and he likes to show he's a true man by watching videos about stepmoms that make him firm like The Rock. Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. It's acting great Ed Harris on tonight's Hollywood Swingers.
So much to unpack. The introduction means it's time for our favourite segment of the show, Hollywood Swingers, where we celebrate those Hollywood stars who've swung into music. This week it's a guy that's kind of that guy that you always go, oh, who is that guy?
He's always good in things.
Yeah, but you never know who he is. It's Ed Harris.
Yeah.
What? Tell me about him, Paul.
Edward Allen Harris. He was born November 28th, 1950. It was a Tuesday in Englewood, New Jersey, to Mother Margaret, a travel agent, and Father Robert, who worked at the Art Institute of Chicago, but was also a performer who sang with the likes of Perry Como and appeared in a number of US variety shows.
Ooh.
Now, at school, Ed was quite the athlete, but Harris eventually found a stronger interest in the craft of acting, and he would enroll to study drama at the University of Oklahoma, where, as well as appearing in roles at local theatres, just kind of on an amateur basis, he would also model tuxedos at the State Fair.
Ooh, I
for
like
some cash
that.
on the side, before he eventually moved to study in Los Angeles. Now, after graduating, Harris stuck to the stage for the start of his professional career, but he would also get some bit part appearances on TV shows like The Rockford Files, Chips, and Heart to Heart. The actor's first film role didn't come until 1978, at the age of 28, he had a minor part in a Michael Crichton film called Coma, before his first major role in a 1980 Charles Bronson action crime drama called Borderline.
Okay.
His first lead, right, and this is great, it's in the amazing, absurd-sounding 1981 film Knight Riders. Not the right Knight Rider you think, but it was a George A. Romero drama. George A. Romero's the guy who did all the zombie films.
Right.
It was a drama about a travelling Renaissance troupe who do jousting on motorbikes. But they actually try to live life to the ideals of King Arthur. So they live an Arthurian lifestyle.
So they've got like
So
the Knight's Code and stuff.
They have the Knight's Code, and he's like the king.
Can I tell you that when I was a child, there was a theme park called Camelot that was one of my favourite places in the whole wide world, and my dad used to take me to it, and they had jousting, and one time the Red Knight asked for my hat as a favour, and he won against the Black Knight, and it was one of the happiest moments of my life.
Well, you might like
And
this
it's
film
deeply affected
because
me.
it's that
So-
on motorbike.
This is exciting, and I can't wait to watch it.
Now, despite not being that well known, it was actually very well received at the time, and he followed it up the next year with a role in another George A. Romero film, the horror anthology Creepshow, which was also written by Stephen King.
Scary.
But it was really 1983's The Right Stuff that gave him his big breakthrough.
Okay.
Playing the astronaut John Glenn in the story of the first US human space flight, the film was a box office bomb, but conversely, it was massively critically acclaimed, nominated for 8 Oscars, it won 4, and it became a big hit on home video subsequently.
That's one of those weird ones. Shawshank, massive flop in the cinema, huge on home VHS.
Once everybody realised it was actually great and found it, nobody found it until it went in. So he met his wife, Amy Madigan, who was the female lead in Field of Dreams, and Uncle Buck, for those keeping score.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's in Criminal Minds.
Well, she's married to Ed Harris.
She's a great
He met
actress.
her on the set of 1984's Places in the Heart. That's that film with Sally Field in it. And Harris continued to carve out his niche as a solid serious actor. 1989 saw him starring his biggest role to date, playing the lead in the James Cameron film The Abyss, but it also nearly became his last role. It seems to be customary for James Cameron films. The conditions on set were reportedly extremely taxing. A lot of people don't like making James Cameron films, with many of the actors pushed to breaking point by the director's demands. Not only this, but during underwater filming, Harris almost drowned after a stunt went wrong whilst he was fully submerged.
That's terrifying.
Eventually he was rescued, having almost lost his life, and Harris supposedly broke down and wept after he drove home that evening. Despite being a hit, the movie that is, Harris refused to talk about the film or any of his experiences since its release, but reports have emerged basically alleging that things got so bad that Harris punched James Cameron during filming.
There's obviously been you don't talk about it, we don't talk about it sitch going on. It's easier for everybody just to not
Just
talk
to
about it.
ignore what happened on that film.
Jim in Netherley says, I do think Ed Harris is a good actor and has a good screen presence, but when you look at his wide array of excellent movies, you realise he just plays Ed Harris in every one.
But if it works for you, then it works. Now,
Exactly.
continuing with solid roles in classics like the likes of Glengarry Glen Ross, brilliant film, and he was in The Firm with Tom Cruise. It wasn't until 1995's Apollo 13 that Harris, for his role as flight director Gene Kranz, was nominated for the Best Supporting Actor Oscar ahead of the rest of a stellar cast, pun intended.
Is he the guy who says, Houston, we have a problem?
No, that he's the guy they say it to.
Is he Houston?
He's Houston.
Oh, that's cool.
He then tried his hand at a couple of semi-villainous roles. He played the traitorous general in the 1996 Michael Bay film The Rock, which is great. It's terrible, it's great. Before starring as the creator of The Truman Show, Christoph, in the Jim Carrey film of the same name with his nice wee Kangol
You
hat.
finally got to a film I actually know.
There you go. Now,
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
despite replacing the original actor Dennis Hopper during filming,
Dennis Hopper annoys me. I'm glad he's not in it.
he claims he was fired probably for annoying people. Harris made the part his own, and he was nominated again for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards.
It's a magical film. It's a beautiful film.
It's
Have you
amazing.
ever seen the the DVD extra they essentially made? That's the documentary of the actors talking about being in the Truman Show. So good.
Oh, it's the
so
whole thing's
beautiful.
great.
It's magical.
2000 saw the actor finally manage to star in and ultimately direct his long-held passion project, which was a film based on the life of the artist Jackson Pollock. Ed Harris wanted to do it for years. He even built a studio and tried to learn the painter's techniques for like a decade to get into the role.
That's somebody who's never pulled hair out their drain.
Yeah, he even took some hints from his old frenemy James Cameron as he reportedly threw a chair on set in order to get a better performance from his co-stars. And it seemed to work because the film earned Harris a third Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actor.
Has he won yet?
However, he did also sink a lot of his own money into it, and the actor admitted that some of his subsequent roles were done solely for the cash.
So-
but that's the kind of actors I like.
Was the stepmom to pay for the Jackson Pollock?
There might be elements of that. I think he said that what the one example he used specifically was Enemy at the Gates with Jude Law. Now the ones but that's the actors I like. The actors that are so good at what they do that they are almost Teflon now.
Yeah.
They can go and do a big stupid action film and then right back into an Oscar bait series film at the drop of a hat. And that's Harris. For every Oscar nominated performance in The Hours, he didn't win that one either, or starring in A Beautiful Mind.
Is The Hours that film about Virginia Woolf?
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, I hate Richmond, it's rubbish.
And he then has a turn. He played the baddie in the Nicolas Cage film National Treasure 2.
Never seen it.
And then he was in Jerry Butler's Geostorm. The same year he was in that creepy Jennifer Lawrence film Mother.
Ooh, I didn't watch that because it was too frightening and I knew it would frighten me too much, but I knew he was in that.
Yeah, and then he even went back to telly and he starred as the Man in Black, the role originally played by Yul Brynner, in the small screen adaptation of Westworld.
Very cool.
And it ran for 4 seasons, had massive ratings, widespread critical acclaim, and then, like most of these things, it fell off a cliff and
It
then
got
they cancelled
rubbish.
it. Yeah,
But it was a book written by the same guy who wrote Jurassic Park.
yeah.
Was
Michael
shocked
Crichton.
to find out that was like a book.
They made a lot of Michael Crichton things.
Yeah, I didn't realise.
So now to tonight's song, and we go to 2008's Western film Appaloosa. It was another Ed Harris directorial stint where he also starred alongside Viggo Mortensen and Renée Zellweger.
You don't see Viggo Mortensen anymore.
Not much, and then he'll show up
He'll
in
just
just a film, and then it wins loads of Oscars, and you
Pops
go,
about.
where was he?
Having a great time.
Yeah, he's great. And as well as dusting off his chaps, he also dusted off the old pipes as he gave a rare singing performance. But will his campfire performance take you off into the sunset, or will it sit like the painful indigestion after a mess of beans that never leave your heart?
Yeah.
be a man that cares just like I do. I knew when I first saw you, my doubting days were through. You've got a certain something I never dreamt before. I knew it was for real when you stepped inside that door. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. There'll always be a prideful man who believes he's got the strength, but you don't have to kiss him, 'cause I'll go to any length to be the man you want at night. I'll get better, wait and see. You can't pick the apple till the seed becomes a tree. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. I know you like to get undressed, and I'll be there when I can. But please don't go on whoring, or I won't be no lawman. Every cheating bastard who takes you to his bed wish he'd kept his britches on when he's lying full of lead. I don't care what you do, I don't care what you say. There's truth inside you somewhere that doesn't have to play. And being scared and lonely, acting so darn loose, screwing who you want to and believing your excuse. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. You'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. You'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart. And when the day does come, when you and I depart, you'll be the one who's leaving, 'cause you'll never leave my heart.
That was this week's Hollywood swinger Ed Harris with You'll Never Leave My Heart. Here in the Ashley Storrie Show, we rank our Hollywood swingers on a scale of 1 to 100 Kenny Roger roasters. Kenny Roger being the best and the original Hollywood swinger. I'm going to come to you first, Paul. Do you know what? No, I'm going to come to me first, Paul. I loved that. I mean, it was problematic, but it's from a cowboy time when times were problematic. I want to give that like 90 Kenny Roger roasters. I really enjoyed that, and I think it's contender for King of the Swingers. I think he has a great voice. I think he sounded like a cowboy. I really enjoyed it. Paul, I'll come to you now.
If you're only going to do one, you do one that works for you, and he seems to have done that. Doesn't do anything special in it, but the song never required it. So what he did for that song, which was actually quite a good song,
Yes.
it completely worked.
It's like when the Lee Harvey Oswald sings Wandering Star.
You don't
No,
get... It's
no,
like,
no,
yeah.
that's not his name. Lee Harvey Oswald shot John F. Kennedy.
Did you say Lee Marvin?
That's
So, like Ed Harris in his films,
My
you don't
brain
get
stopped.
Ed Harris
no,
to play mega comedic roles.
no.
You get him to be the serious guy because he's the serious
He's
guy.
the serious
and
guy.
he's great at it. And you get him to sing a cowboy song. And he was great at it. So I'm going to give him a solid 80 for me.
I'm going to tell you the truth as well. For the longest time, until you said in a WhatsApp text, Ashley, Ed Harris is this week's Hollywood swinger, I did think him and the man from Whiplash were the same person.
No, that's J.K. Simmons.
I did think J.K. Simmons and Ed Harris were the same man.
Which is a shame because, like, both are super acclaimed actors who have been in loads of things and are highly respected in their craft, and you can't even give them the dignity of giving them their own names.
I know, I'm an idiot, but Ed, what's his name?
Harris.
No, what's the name of the other one? J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
He's the yellow M&M in the adverts.
He is indeed, yeah.
That's my fun fact about him. I don't know what Ed Harris has done apart from The Stepmom and The Truman Show. I think they're the only two films I've seen that he's been in. But
No, you've seen Apollo 13.
I have 100% not. It's incredibly boring. My mum and dad watched it, and I remember them watching it and going, "This is a snore fest. Where are the lasers?" And
You've
leaving.
never seen The Firm.
No. What's that about? Can I guess?
Yeah.
Right, just give me. When is it set?
90s, early 90s.
In a gym where they all get firm bodies.
No.
In a lawyer firm.
Yes.
Okay, and they solve a murder.
To an extent, yes.
Very cool. Is it Tom Cruise?
Yes.
That was when Tom Cruise played a lot of lawyers.
Well, there's a lot of just people loved John Grisham in the 90s.
Oh yes, I've read a couple of his books. They're very legal eagles, but I've never ever sat down. I've seen the one where he's the Colonel Santiago Code Red, A Few Good Men. I've seen.
Oh, we're talking about Tom Cruise still?
Yeah, well, Tom Cruise law films. I've seen that one. Get in touch via text at 0295. Let us know your score for Ed Harris.
Also, if you can just school Ashley on films that Ed Harris has been in. He's only just been in some of, like, the most noted films.
No, you went through them and you listed them, and the ones I recognise were The Stepmom and Truman Show, and the rest I haven't seen. And that's just how it goes, Paul. There's a lot of films that I just find boring. I like cool space films that everybody else hates, and that's it.
And yet he's in two of the space films that...
Not real space films. That's boring. I don't want to know about real people going to space. I want to know about, like, Jupiter dogs and such like.
Well, maybe next week we'll do Chris Pine.
Ooh. No, I don't like him. He's not my Captain
But
Kirk.
that's why I'm going to do it.
Like Dune. Like, ooh, sandworms.
That was a terrible movie.
I know, I've never seen it, but it's the kind of film I would watch if I was in the mood for it. Get in touch via text 80295. Let us know what you thought of Ed Harris's performance of You'll Never Leave My Heart. I thought it was good. I liked it. I didn't not enjoy it. 90 Kenny Rogers Roasters. Let's have a palate cleanser. Ooh, it's the Osmonds with Crazy Horses. Row, row.